we submitted this idea about 6 months ago, it was pretty a big deal. Obviously, with social media, savvy consumers, if you get it wrong, they'll just light you up right away. You know it. And there was so much in the zeitgeist already happening. Things like Oscars so white, people are looking for cultural representation. You better get it right. And then, with the new administration, I feel like there's just everything's at a fever pitch. Everybody's ears are pricked up. Everybody's vigilant, watching, making sure that they're represented, and that it's authentic, and that it's good. So now it's more than ever. This could have been actually the whole talk. It's such a big deal, I think. Talk about the Dear Mainland campaign. That's the campaign that came out of the first two ideas. And we'll talk a little bit about business results and things like that. And lastly, we'll talk about things we maybe sort of kind of got right. I think, we nailed cultural authenticity is like a dangerous sentence for a white guy to say. But I think we learned a lot of things thanks to a lot of great help. And I can share those with you if this is the kind of thing you might want to try. By way of introduction, and by the way, I'm not used to using the mic. If I'm moving around, you can't hear me. Just please shout out. By way of introduction, my name is Parker Channon. I work at an ad agency in San Francisco called Duncan Channon. That's us there. Very serious and stern group of dedicated professionals. Just work up there 24/7. And I was part of the team that was fortunate enough to be invited to pitch for the Kona Brewing account, and even more fortunate to win the Kona Brewing account against what were really amazing competitors. You can imagine in advertising, this is the kind of account you want, right? This is a beer account, right? It's like, it's not B2B software. Not that we don't want B2B software accounts. We have them, but damn, it's a beer account, and it's a beer account from Hawaii, right? It's like, and so what do you think? It's like, oh shit, did we get to go to Hawaii to make beer commercials? Oh my God, as an ad agency, this client is like the holy grail. So everyone at work was very excited, as you can see. There's probably lots of Kona beer in that picture, as we tend to drink a lot of it. But for me personally, it was even a bigger deal. My family's been on the islands now for decades. This is my dad, Jim, and that's his house that I helped him build 30 years ago. This is my baby sister. She lives on Oahu, and that's her family. And this is our family restaurant. This is on a little town called Hawaii Town, which is on the northern tip of the Big Island. If you ever go all the way up to the end of the road, it's called Bamboo. It's really good. I recommend it. And this is me a long time ago as a young guy when I used to go there and clearly had just seen the movie Footloose with Kevin Bacon. I'm not sure what's happening with this thing. I know there's a new Footloose, so you young people are like, oh. I'm talking about the old Footloose. So for those of you on the Grayburg side of something, you know which one I'm talking about. Anyway, I used to go to Hawaii all the time. My dad would give me a ticket if maybe I would dig the trench for his septic line or something like that. And then I had no money to stay at a hotel ever, and I would sleep with my buddies in the night, and I would hang out at the family restaurant. I would hang out with staff, locals, and that was when I really sort of fell in love with what I call kind of local style Hawaii. It was just this whole new world to me, and it was so different than anything I encountered. I've lived sort of all over the continental U.S., and this was a wholly new thing. And what I really loved were the Hawaiians that I met, the local Hawaiians, and I just never met people like this. I never saw them represented on movie screens or TV screens or ads, for that matter, back home, and I just fell in love with it. And when we went to Kona, I thought the one thing that I personally would love to do is just bring to life this real, authentic Hawaii that I love so much, and I know other people love too. So that's probably enough about me for now. Let's talk about this guy. Oh! who is that? Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Anyway, aloha. Aloha. My name is David Bell. Very Hawaiian sounding name, I know. But let's see, I was born in Honolulu and born and raised all the way through high school, and then my dad, who was from the Big Island, moved us up after I graduated up to Waimea. Honolulu, about as city as you can get for Hawaii, or even if you know for any place. And then to see Waimea, about as country as you can get. So
I think I got from both sides of that in Hawaii growing up. But what also helped was both of my grandfathers were full-blooded Hawaiian, and you don't really find that a lot nowadays. And so my dad, other than obviously English, also spoke fluent Hawaiian, fluent Tahitian, and sorry, my dad's passed, so that's why I know. But what I think helped with that was that I grew up with real Hawaiian values that you do in Hawaii, and just a real sense of what I'm proud of, a real sense of aloha, and what that means. And so, let's go. Right, yeah. That's a really famous David and David Hasselhoff. Right there. So anyway, yeah, this actually takes me to my acting career, which started with one thing when I was really young. In grade school, they were putting on a presentation, a production of Babes in Toyland. And so I auditioned for that, and quick story, when the teacher that was in charge of that was handing out the roles, it was like, okay, you got this part, you got this part. Then they stopped, looked at all the kids and said, okay, who do you think is going to play Santa Claus? Well, what do you think plays Santa Claus? So, but no, I got the role of Santa Claus in Babes in Toyland. I did the best I could. But that kind of started to spark with the acting thing, which honestly took almost 20 years later to really see where it could go. This picture on this side, my full-time job is at the Kona International Airport. I'm there 40 hours a week. So, it's kind of a career. So right now the acting thing is just kind of on the side. But when I'm talking about 20 years later, it wasn't until after I moved to the Big Island, I saw that they were casting for the reboot for Hawaii Five-0. And I thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool, especially since my dad was a cop in Honolulu, and they kind of still do that now, where they use the real cops. It's kind of in the background and things. So he was able to get on a couple episodes as an extra. So I figured, okay, flew myself over to Honolulu, got registered with the casting agency, and fortunately enough, I was able to get on the first season. And if it ended there, I think I would have been okay, just because, like I said, my dad was on the original, and I got on the reboot. And then the casting agency, maybe a few months or a year later or so, sent me the information for the Kona Brewing stuff. And I thought, well, at first it really wasn't what I kind of set out to do. It was kind of a local thing, and which wouldn't really matter, except I'd have to fly myself over to Honolulu to do just the audition, not even knowing if I get it. But I figured since I live on the same island, what the hell, I'd go and try. So flew myself over, got a rental car, got all the way to the casting agency, only find out the casting director got sick. They pushed it back again. So I called work, they said, it's okay, stay there, do it, we want to see you on TV. So, of course, I'm like, okay, great, awesome. But now I gotta extend my rental car, I gotta get a hotel room. I have family over there, but I kind of didn't want to bother them for just a night. And let's see, change fee, all those kind of things. Plus I didn't have clothes. But so I stayed for the audition the next day. But that night at the hotel, you gotta understand, I was in a few $100s by then, flying myself over, staying an extra day again for just an audition for, at the time, what I thought was just a local commercial. So that night at the hotel, I sat down and I thought, you know what? If I don't get this part, it probably might not be worth it. And I decided that if I didn't, then I would quit.
So we'll leave our stories there and we'll return to our stories in a little bit. And we're going to take a detour and talk about beer. I assume as people on Earth, you know that craft beer has kind of become a big business. Austin is a shining testament to the breadth and power of craft beer. So, for Kona, that's good news because, well, they're craft beer, right? But that's also the bad news, and I'll explain. So in 2008, there were 1,500 breweries in the U.S., so the craft movement was booming, it was going great. Maybe the market is saturated, can't really hold anymore. Today, there are over 5,000 breweries in the U.S. and more coming every day. Somewhere right now, a guy in a plaid shirt with a big lustrous beard is saying, "Today is the day I open my brewery." I guarantee it. So what does that mean for Kona? That, as of this morning, Kona has 4,999 competitors out there. We put ergo there so it's like serious, right? Ergo! Kona has 4,999 competitors. So if you've been to the store lately, it's crazy. It's daunting, as a brand. How do we possibly step out? What can we own? What is our USP, unique selling proposition for those not in the business? What can we say? It almost becomes impossible. You look at it, it's like the late great Bill Paxton said in Aliens, "Oh, game over, man." So, can the liquid, did I jump ahead? Can the liquid be the differentiating thing? Can that be the thing you own? Can the stuff in the bottle be different than those other 4,999 beers? So, is it the liquid? And I don't know. Here's beer: grain, hops, yeast, water. That's it. That's beer. All 5,000 beers. And yeah, you can vary the style of those ingredients, and you can vary the way in which you brew the beer, and you can add flavors, right? You can add grapefruit juice and coffee and sriracha and that blue tea from the bottom of kombucha. You can add whatever you want to add to it, but everybody has already done it. Again, it's already done. It's hard to differentiate. So, looking at that giant shelf of beers, what does Kona Brewing have that the thousands of other beers out there don't? We really puzzled. It's the thing that we realized, the thing that they have that's different, and it's just one thing. And maybe that one thing could be everything. The thing that they have is Hawaii, the great state of Hawaii. So the first thing I said I was going to talk about is this. Can you sell a product by simply selling the place that it's from, where it originated? And we believed you could. We believed the world had changed into a certain shape where this idea of place was going to have a moment, that it was going to become more and more important. You guys, anybody know who Wally Olins is? He's a British guy, and he years ago started a brand consultancy called Wolf Olins, and everything he said was amazing. He later went on to a different place, and now, sadly, he's in the brand consultancy in the sky. But he was very early on to this idea that a place, what he called provenance, not providence, but provenance, your place of origin, was going to become this big deal. And here's what Wally said. He said lots of cool stuff, but this is one thing that seemed to encapsulate it nicely. In an era in which transnational companies are making everything everywhere, we as consumers still love to think that the things we treasure come from somewhere, a particular place. We like to think that provenance is a guarantor of quality, that it confirms our preconceptions about German technology or Italian style, and as we will extrapolate Hawaiian perspectives and priorities. It's true, right? Everything we touch comes from everywhere. The whole place has gotten so small and so global that now that we actually covet an origin story. When you bring a bottle of wine for someone, you like to know, tell them where it came from. This becomes really important to you. It actually makes the product more worthwhile. It gives it more merit. It makes it more covetable. So he talks a lot about provenance, and we know our provenance with Kona Brewing. It's Hawaii. That's a pretty goddamn good provenance. But he talks a lot about authenticity. You have to get it right. It can't just be coconut bras and grass skirts and come on, I want to lay you promotions. It has to feel real. So to talk about the real Hawaii, we talk to the real Hawaii. So Hawaii became a state in 1959. Just to put that into perspective, both my parents were born before that. So that's pretty recent still. And I think what that does is it gives Hawaii a kind of cultural perspective that I think is unique compared to maybe most of the mainland America. And so what we also have there is it's the laid back
you know about the laid back style and all that kind of stuff. It breeds a different sense of time, and you know, just different set of priorities. That's what I'm talking about. And so, what happens is, where again you saw that, you know, I work at the Kona airport for the state of Hawaii. What happens is your job becomes the means to the end rather than the end itself, and the end being friends and family and just kind of communal connection to the natural world, nature, things like that. And where we kind of put that together is the idea of what we call pauhana. And what pauhana is, literally, those two words mean done work. You know, the work is over, pauhana. And that could be at the end of any day, on the weekend, things like that. And if you're lucky enough, you can spend pauhana with your ohana. And I know some of you know that as family. Lilo and Stitch, I think, helped everybody with that one. But if again, you're lucky enough to spend that pauhana with your ohana, and it doesn't have to be just your immediate family, obviously. You know, real close friends, people who, if you identify, if you say someone is like family, they're ohana, because you treat them that way. It's the loyalty, it's the feeling you have for them. And what I think is that core idea of being the end that you work for becomes kind of the backbone of Ivan life for us.
And maybe easier, or the easiest way to think about the difference, at least for me, between the islands and the mainland is to compare the two. So let's talk a little about the mainland, which is the home of obviously Kona's target. Right? So the American work ethic is based on Puritanism. The Puritan philosophy is that you should be constantly toiling. Non-stop effort is the only way to spiritual fulfillment. And this has led to a culture that believes that constant working, not just working's fine, constant working is the only way to be truly productive, and the only way, true productivity is the only way to be truly happy. That's us, right? This is a quote from a woman, an islander, and this is her comment when the mainlanders first arrived. This is obviously some time ago, and I thought it was very telling. She says, "Before the missionaries came, my people used to sit outside their temples for a long time, meditating and preparing themselves before entering. Then they would virtually creep to the altar to offer their petition, and afterwards would again sit a long time outside, this time to breathe life into their prayers. The Christians, when they came, just got up, uttered a few sentences, and said amen, and were done. For that reason, my people called them howlies, without breath, or those who failed to breathe life into their prayers." That's us, right? Without breath. Right? Without breath. Chained to our smartphones. How many people have their smartphone in their hand right now? Hold up your shame. If I was out there, I would have mine. I'm not a doctor. I don't need to be reached. I don't need to be looking at it, but we do it anyway, right? Chained to our smartphone. We work over long hours. We leave more vacation days on the table than any other developed nation in the world. We're a drag. And this ceaseless striving, this constant running around in search of happiness, becomes more elusive. The harder we sort of chase it, the more elusive it becomes. And we talk about, when we were strategizing, we talked about this thing called happiness debt. That you've got this happiness debt. No matter how much you run around, it's not working. It's not fixing it. How do you fill this happiness debt? How do you pay it off? You do it by pressing pause and remembering to connect with important stuff, the things that matter. Right? We just need, us guys, we just need permission to do what? To breathe. To breathe, to take a minute. And this is what Hawaii teaches us. And this is what, by proxy, Kona Brewing can deliver. So, this is our positioning for the brand. It's got nothing to do with beer. Breathe. A reminder from Hawaii to connect with what matters. Well, that's selling place by selling its place. Our selling product by selling its place of origin. Secondly, I alluded to my bio to the idea of wanting to see real Hawaiians, guys that I didn't really see when I watched TV. And so we knew we had this message about the essence of Hawaii, and we wanted to make sure that an actual Hawaiian would say these words. And so we thought we'll go to Honolulu and we'll go to Hawaii and we'll cast. And we were talking to a director in LA, he's a very well-known director, I won't rat him out. And he said, don't go to Hawaii. There's no actors in Hawaii. There's no acting community in Hawaii. Go to LA and get, and these are his exact words, get a tan Asian guy. That's why I didn't say his name. It seems funny, but the reality is it's not really that funny because he, like, a couple years ago, Cameron Crowe, like that filmmaker, he's done a lot of great movies, Say Anything, and Jerry Maguire. He wrote a movie called Aloha. I don't know if anybody saw it. Not many people did. And he wrote a character, this great character called Allison Ng. Her last name, surname is Ng, A-N-G, a Chinese name. And she was an island girl of Chinese descent. So they cast naturally. It was so obviously an island girl of Chinese descent, right? And back in Hawaii, they're like, who did they cast? It was no, for real. Who did they cast? And we said no. We're not going down. So our executive creative director, Anna Lisco-Limmy, and I went to Hawaii to cast. And we had 2 days. The first day was really an unmitigated disaster. It's not a diss of Honolulu. No city has the pool of talent that LA has. But we persevered. At one point, there were these guys coming in, and they were all pretty bad, and they all had the same shirt on, this chartreuse green t-shirt. Guy after guy, the same shirt. And it's like, what's the deal? Why does everybody have the same shirt on? And we looked out the window, and the groundskeeping crew was out there. It was a very beautiful landscape outside. And their uniform, was a chartreuse green t-shirt. So the casting agent was literally pulling people out of the bushes and making them come in and read. And at this moment, we pictured our director friend in Malibu laughing his ass off at us. Would we have to slink home to LA and cast? And then an actor arrives. This great actor. I'll talk to Mike. He can't hear me all the way over there. He was amazing. He embodied the role exactly as we hoped he would. He took it up to this new level, and as time goes on with this account, he's much more than an actor. He's become a consultant, and he's even developed some of the creative ideas that you'll see too. So thank God, David Bell, when he was sitting in that motel room thinking, oh, should I quit acting? Thank goodness he did not quit acting. And right after he went, and we knew we were done, there was nobody else. We knew we had it. This other guy walked in and goes, hey, David Bell from high school. And it was Brutus. Yeah. So my story about the chartreuse green shirt is not to bag on Honolulu. It's to say if you want to get stuff right, it's going to take a little time. You're going to have to do things that are a little bit unorthodox. Don't go to LA. Go to Honolulu. So getting place right starts with getting the people right. So we know our positioning. Our positioning is read, a reminder from Hawaii to connect with what matters. We know we want this message sent by authentic, real Hawaiians. So what did we create? We created a campaign called Dear Mainland. And this was a very literal reminder. It's like, hey, mainland, you maniacs, stop. Connect with what matters, you guys. And of course, David Bell.
What we saw that's, like now Palm, obviously, my brother from another mother, Blake Brutus, we call him LeBenz, who I really wish was here. But I mean, I say it all the time that, the commercials and the campaign actually, they don't work without him. And you'll see why.
So here was our inaugural spot. We're on TV and online.
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I wanted to talk to you about your happy hour custom. How come just 1 hour? Maybe you make 1 hour sad hour and the other 23 happy. Now we all got work, but is all that spreadsheet time more important than this time? We know when you should do that spreadsheet. Sad hour.
Kona.
Thanks, Auntie. One life, right? Don't blow it. Mahalo. Kona Brewing. Kona Holy.
Right, so, I mean, I think if we did that, right, the message should have come, come shining through about, really connecting with what matters. One real quick line in there is, we all got work. So basically, we're saying, that's not all we do. We all work, but you got to set that time aside. And basically, why is your happy only an hour? Those kind of things. So, yeah, that was since Santa Claus. That was my first speaking part. That was it. And then I think we have the companion spot that we did too originally.
He crushes it, right? Though it's amazing. I was like, when I was practicing, I would just watch the whole commercial. I could jump ahead, and I'm like, oh Jesus, jump ahead. It's just so fun to watch it. So this is the companion piece. This tackles another topic that we know we're all guilty of.
Dear Mainland, aloha. We've been hearing about this multitasking you're up to, sitting in a meeting, sending text about another meeting, or you send emails about the first meeting. Maybe sometimes you take a little break and do just one thing. Allow my brother and me to demonstrate. Single tasking. One life, right? Don't blow it. Mahalo. Kona Brewing, Kona Hoey.
We also say outdoor. Dear Mainland, work hard, play hard is backwards. To David's point about work again, one thing we're trying to walk the line and be careful about is the brothers aren't indolent, the brothers aren't lazy, the brothers aren't beach bums, the brothers just have better priorities than we do. So work is fine, working hard is fine, but remember why you're doing it, and the reason you're doing it is shouldn't that be the top priority? Another outdoor word, 23 hours is 2 hours, or happy hours 23 hours too short. Again, why do we quarantine our fun? Why do we like, okay, well, I'll just have fun later. Lots of social and digital, but all in all, it was a pretty modest launch, especially when you consider the budgets of behemoths like Corona and Dos Equis. They were also in that kind of lifestyle space that we were interested in playing in. How did we do? I'm sorry for this joke. It's gonna happen twice too, so I'll tell you now, it's gonna come again. So our little plan packed a nice Hawaiian punch.
No, I like Hawaiian punch, so that's fine.
Sales are, our clients are here, by the way, so they can verify. And just call, if we're doing any alternative facts, you can. 37% sales lift in the markets we ran. Third highest recorded lift in 12 years. Pretty good. I don't know what happened 13 years ago. There must have been a lot of lift going on. Top 1% of all measured campaigns. So, pretty good results, right? We were happy, they were happy. So Kona upped the budget a little bit, and we created some more stuff, and we were able to go to more cities. We're just kind of growing the budget as we can, and getting into new markets. And here's a few highlights from the second wave. This one asks a sort of very current question.
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I keep hearing about your fear of missing out, FOMO, running this way and that, to try and do every little thing. Maybe you don't worry about FOMO. Instead, maybe you try a little slow-mo with a cold Kona beer. Brother, you get FOMO, no more. One life, right? Don't blow it. Mahalo. Kona Brewing, Kona Hoey.
The hardest part is that clink. You don't know how hard that is. I think.
You gotta keep your fingers off.
Yeah, right, label front, and get the clink, and without looking, you're smiling. I think we both spilled a little beer on each other's shorts that day.
One more spot here.
Dear Mainland, aloha. You seem to have a hard time leaving the office. You say this work won't finish itself. My brother and I would like to issue this rebuttal. This food, it's not gonna eat itself. That wahine, she's not gonna kiss herself. And this Kona beer, it's not gonna drink itself. One life, right? Don't blow it. Mahalo. Kona Brewing, Kona Hoey.
In addition to lots of good business results, we were able to see lots of amazing results out of the social media world. We follow all the responses, and that one life, right? Don't blow it. The kind of that push at the end to get you to reconsider your boring ways has really been adopted by people.
It's the new YOLO.
It's the new one.
It's the new YOLO.
That's the new YOLO.
One life, right? Don't blow it.
So mid-second wave, we decided to go ahead and make some more stuff because we had a little bit more budget. We wanted to make a few more things. We wanted to expand into social media. We wanted to do a lot of paid social. In the past, we've run the whole 30-second. So we made some shorter, kind of more loose limb things that are still in the same kind of vein. And I'll show you just a few. We made a lot of them that'll start rolling out. I'm sure the creatives will be, all the creative teams will be yelling. This stuff isn't finished yet. So the final sound isn't done. The final picture, the color will look a little flat, whatever. So that, one other thing too. This was the time, so we'd always leaned heavily on David, and we'd always leaned heavily on Brutus, the other actor. By the way, Brutus, in addition to being an actor, teaches Hawaiian studies at the University of Hawaii for the last 7 years. So we've got some real raters helping us make sure we're getting it right. So now we send scripts and concepts, early concepts, to David and Brutus before we even present them to Ken and Cindy, our clients, to make sure we're bringing them authentic, good things that we know we're not going to have to come back later and say, oh, geez, that isn't quite right. So these guys really are amazing help. So this is them. What are dumb things that we waste our time doing on the mainland? So these are reviews they did. They did some of Pokemon Go, and here's one they did about that.
Hey, brother. Did you see the one with the cat dressed up as a spider, dressed up as a fire hydrant?
Nah, you?
Nah.
Speaking of social media response, we saw lots of people talking about they would ask questions just right into the comments of like, how can I live my life? Like, what can I do about my boss who sends me every email is urgent? What can I do? So we thought, oh, we'll have letters from the mainland.
Dear Kona, I have so many work meetings that I don't have time for anything else. Well, mainland, it sounds like there's one very important meeting you need to have ASAP. A hand in a Kona meeting.
Don't be late, yeah?
This last one, this is completely David Bell's idea. So one thing we need to do when we're talking about authenticity, and I'll come to it later, is we need to make sure that the brand is legitimately connected to Hawaii. It can't be a veneer of Hawaii, and Kona is, and I'll go into that more and more. And it's important for us to show that they are continuing that investment in Hawaii even as they grow. And so they're about to do a $15 million expansion, and so they can make even more beer. But the trouble is, it was kind of like it's just a pit, right? It's just a pit where they're going to build the thing. And what can we do with this thing? And David said, well, what if we we're just camped out there, like we're waiting for Radiohead tickets or it's a Best Buy thing. And so he did a whole series. This is just one of them. As they wait for the brewery that was basically a year to a year and a half away from
So this is the new Kona brewery, yeah, brother?
Yep.
This needs the roof
Yep.
and the floor
Yep.
and the brewery.
Yep.
Those are brand new, so they're still funny. Oh no! Yes. Was there a sophomore slump? Did we go down in round 2? No. It's Hawaiian Punch 2. The sequel's better than the original. Sales up another 15% over the 37% from the year before, the record year. We were pushing one beer, Big Wave Golden Ale, which you've never had. It's really good. I recommend it to everybody. Sales up 33% there. And this is the big one. Kona is now in the top 10 of all craft beers. So you imagine that giant ass aisle of beers that I showed earlier, 5,000 beers. Top 10, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. I'll show one more work effort. Again, really, this is so brand new. It's very rough. We call this the website paradox. Right? One thing you need to do is you need to be true to your original idea, no matter what it is you're making, no matter the medium, right? So our idea is connect with what matters. Writer for writing, connect with what matters. And so Kona came to us and said, hey, let's redo our website. If you go there, the website is older. And still, they knew it needed to be done. It's time to do it. But that presents a problem, right? If our idea is get off your devices and put down stuff, go hang out with real people in the real world, doesn't a website just contradict that? Where do we possibly go from here? And we really were puzzled how to handle this thing. It seems to fly in the face of our very idea, which is get offline. So we all took a bunch of ayahuasca. No. We thought on it, and we came up with an idea. And this is the idea, which seems counterintuitive. Let's make a beautiful website for Kona, and then let's spend a lot of time and effort convincing people not to go there. So these things are still in development and not yet approved by our clients, but we're talking about it. So imagine, if you will, when you pick up that bottle, you pick up that 12-pack, it says right on there, mahalo for not visiting ConaBrewingCo.com. And then, there's just going to be people who are just going to be persistent, and they're just going to go or they're not going to see it on the bottle, they're going to want to go anyway. So maybe what we should do is actually make some ads that would run in their Facebook news feed, further telling them it's not really necessary.
Dear Internet, aloha. Kona Brewing just launched a new website, and it is sweet. But maybe instead of looking at Kona online, you enjoy some Kona, in the real world. Better yet, come to the home of Liquid Aloha. It is a nice site, though. You can take my word for it.
So mahalo for not visiting ConaBrewingCo.com. So the age gate, that thing that's at the beginning of alcohol sites where you have to say that you're 21, that would really stop anybody who's 16 from going, I was born in 1899, let me in. But they have to have them, so this is yet another chance to stop them. Aloha. Before you put that age thing, maybe you just don't. Maybe instead you get offline, go outside, and give you and your friends some cold Kona beer. Mahalo. Are you 21? And one last thing. When you get to the site, now this is a very crude mock-up of the site. You're actually going to be greeted with what? One more video. Now you can scroll down once it's in front if you want to, or if you love your brothers, as most people do, you might watch it.
Dear Internet, aloha and welcome, I guess. You see, my brother and I are wondering why you're here looking at Kona beer online instead of drinking Kona beer, in the real world. My brother said, maybe they don't know where to find the closest Kona. Maybe they want to know how to go and visit the Kona pubs or learn about Kona's sustainability efforts. And then I said, shoot, you're talkative today. One life.
So when that's done, that's far. We'll just slide up and it will go away. Again, the idea of being true. A website isn't any different than a TV spot, isn't any different than a social post, isn't any different than what's written on your package. It should all be the same message, right? So that's probably my should be stuff. Thank you for. We're just excited about the new stuff, so maybe. So Kona is clearly doing well. The clients are here, they can confirm. Sales are up and to the right. Brand tracking is all good. Social media comments are all amazing. So I think it's fair to say that we did some stuff right. So I'm going to talk about 4 sort of takeaways if you were sort of interested in doing kind of origin-based marketing campaigns. 4 things that we learned, some of which may be a little bit self-evident. It's more about just keeping after them and being true to the spirit of doing it correct. So, right? If you're going to make a spot about a place, people from a place to do the spot. It seems easy, and nobody does it.
Yeah, I'll joke inside that she's in the next round.
Oh yeah. After the Academy Awards, she's going to do the Matthew McConaughey thing and start doing commercials. Ask local. This is what we call ask local. This is huge. Ask doesn't even really cover it. So I've told you that David and Brutus are incredibly involved in the stuff that you're doing, making sure you get it right. This is something you have to do. Like, I think I know why I've been doing it for 30 years. I think I'm a good copywriter. it just doesn't matter. You have to check your ego. You got to show the real people, locals to stuff. And we get stuff wrong. It's little stuff all the time. And David will just catch us. We were just shooting something the other day, and the stylist put a lay on everybody. It seems like really minor. And David's like, no. Pick a birthday person. They get the lays. Nobody else gets a lay. It's just like getting the stuff right before you get busted. This is the candy. If any of you guys have been to Hawaii, this is the candy you grab when you're like, oh shit, I forgot to get something for those assholes at work. You get this box.
Or even for locals, if we're visiting the mainland, we'll grab one of they sell them a box of stacks. And you just buy, long drugs, that kind of thing. And then, bringing them, just kind of hand them out. It's our aloha from Hawaii.
Right.
But we kind of, showed, Brutus did actually show to Parker, was send him this, and be like, yeah, that tiki right there, that's Ku, the god of war. on the aloha box of chocolates that you're handing out to your closest family and friends.
So your Hawaiian host is like, here, enjoy these chocolates for tonight, you die. So I can't, making a joke, I can't stress the importance of this. Walk the talk. We're lucky. Kona is for real about Hawaii. And again, if it's a veneer of Hawaii, if it's a facade, if it's Outback Steakhouse, in connection to Australia, but whatever, it's not going to work. So Kona is great about throwing parties and concerts for the locals. They have this thing called the Kona series. They also make special beers that are just like, some are made like taro root, things that are strictly Hawaiian ingredients. So giving back to that community, all the proceeds from this then also go to environmental causes on the island. So that idea of the communal connection to the natural world, taking care of the island, is a big thing. The $15 million expansion in Hawaii, more jobs for Hawaiians, more beer brewed on Hawaii, big deal. They also make the stuff like they continue to make beers that they bring here that are still Hawaiian. So they have a new POG IPA. You guys know what POG is? Passion fruit, orange, and guava juice. Every kid in Hawaii drinks POG. So a POG IPA, which is also very good stuff. Honolulu IPA. So if you don't walk the talk, don't even bother. Ask local, walk the talk. And this last one, keep it simple. So this is something I see, it's kind of twofold. I see this happen the first one that has to happen in advertising since I started, which is the desire to fuck with stuff that's working. Just you get tired of seeing it. So it happens, sometimes the clients will do it. They'll be like, oh geez, we've already said this, I've seen this so many times. Let's try it. Like, oh, I've got this new thing, and can't we do that? But really, it's the agencies that are the worst culprits of all. The creative teams are like, oh, I already entered that in the workshops last year, we need to make some new things. Don't mess with a winner. The studies are going to come out more and more. The thing that all brands are doing is just like they're getting a new tagline every 2 years. It's like, you got a winner, just stick with it. The second part of this equation has to do with data. We are drunk on data, right? We are just drunk off our ass on data. And what it leads us to do is take little tangential pieces of data and extrapolate them into these weird theories and hypotheses about why we need to change the stuff we've got, or why we need to make it a little bit more complex or nuanced. It's just, no, just keep it simple. Thank you. This is a video of the ex-mayor of Kona. His name is Billy Kinoi, and he's talking to the Hawaii Tourism Board, and he's telling them sort of the same thing about aloha. And he also speaks a little bit.
What is aloha? I can only tell you aloha from my perspective. What I find is there's an authenticity to it, right? It's real, simple. Sometimes we over-strategize things, we overthink things. We want to come up with measurables and evidence-based best practice to raise our numbers, to generate revenue, and increase visitor arrivals. But at the end of the day, what we settle an experience. How do you like that experience be? How do you like people? How do you get people say, wow, that was cool? They gotta feel good. How do you make them feel good? Make them feel real. Make them feel honest. Aloha. You know what I mean? me brand aloha, based on our market analysis of our targeted demographic and more frequent traffic.
I love that guy. Wally Olin and Billy Kinoy are just like our touchstones when we think about the work we're doing. Geez, that's probably enough of my yammering at this point. I hope this was helpful. I hope if you're considering marketing using Origin as a way to market, I think we've proven that it can really work, especially in this time. To bring it home, I'll turn it over to David.
I think maybe I'll just kind of leave it at this, if I may. Dear Southwest, aloha. The principles of Hawaii don't just apply to our marketing. They are principles to live by. And if today was a typical Monday, you might be sitting there, all stressed, saying, oh geez, it's only Monday, because you think it's Monday. Well, my brothers and sisters, from my perspective, it's not Monday.
Dear Mainland, aloha. Now we know you guys love Friday. You even thank the creator for it, TGIF. But why leave out Thursday? Maybe you call Thursday Little Friday and be thankful for it too.
Happy Little Friday.
Oh, it's Monday, brother. Happy teeny tiny Friday. One life.
Happy teeny tiny Friday.
I think we have time for questions and answers, or questions, and we will try to answer. Yeah.